Good evening, everybody. This is Jose Negron, and welcome to another short video on Uncommon Sense. Now, what I'm going to be talking about briefly is civil service exams and preparation needed. For this example, I'm going to be dealing with civil service examinations in New York City, dealing with municipal employment. Every month, there are different types of examinations where candidates can file for. So the first thing you need to do, if you decide to take a civil service exam, you need to read the notice very carefully and make sure that you fit all the qualifications to fit the exam. Because if you file for an exam where you don't meet all the criteria, what's going to happen is you're not going to get graded, and it's a good chance you're not going to get your money back. But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, you found a notification, you found an examination, and you found that you do have the qualifications to file. So what you're going to do is you're going to file. You're going to do it online, and you will pay an examination fee, and it can vary depending on the nature of the exam. Now, usually the filing period, it's about 3 weeks long. So that's something to bear in mind if you think about filing for any civil service exam. After you have filed, I would strongly suggest that you begin preparation for the exam. How do you do that? That's a good question. What you're going to do is try to get a study guide for the exam. Now, if you don't know where to get it, if you do a Google search many times and then you enter the name of the examination, you will find online where to go to order the study guide. Once you get the study guide, I would suggest that you give yourself at least an hour a day in preparation. Most likely what you're going to be doing is reading and taking some more examinations. Now, once it gets close to your date, where you have to take the examination, you will get a notification either through the mail or through email. In that notice, it will give you the location where to go, the date of the examination, the time to report. It will also list what you can bring with you and what you can't bring with you. Now, one thing to bear in mind, on the day of the exam, be prepared to spend a considerable amount of time. As far as most examinations with the city of New York, they're going to give you, for the most part, 4 hours to answer an examination that in most cases will have 80 questions. And you should try every way possible to answer all 80 questions. Why? Because any questions that you fail to answer, it'll be marked wrong anyway. Now, if you should happen to report at a location for the examination, particular location that you do not know about, I would suggest the following. Do not cram the night of the exam, because you're not going to retain that much information. Give yourself plenty of sleep, eat a good meal, and give yourself plenty of time, because you never know what might happen. If it'll take you half an hour to get to your destination, give yourself at least an hour or an hour and a half. Because it is better to get there early than to get there late. Because what's going to happen if you arrive at the location for the exam late, you will not gain entry. Also, you will not be able to leave the place where you're going to take the examination until you actually completed the examination itself. So my suggestion, on the day of the examination, wear comfortable clothes, bring sharpened pencils, bring a simple calculator, not a scientific one, but a simple one. If you bring your cell phone with you, turn them off, please, and keep it hidden. Because realistically speaking, you're gonna be there for a good 4 to 6 hours. And why do I say that? Because remember, you have possibly hundreds of people who are filing to take the same exam. Therefore, it's going to require a great deal of coordination as far as which candidates go to which rooms. While you're taking the exam, read the questions carefully. And pay attention to those questions where it says nearly or almost and everything but. Because you need to read the questions. Those who follow instructions well usually do well on examinations. After you complete it and fill out your questions, if you have time, go over and make sure that all the questions are answered correctly. Because sometimes we can miss a question, or we could write down an answer in error. Now, sometimes there might be a protest period, an opportunity to protest certain responses to questions. You'll be given information about it. Now, after you complete the examination, you will let the monitors know, and then the monitors will allow you to leave. After you complete your examination, it will take time for a list to be established. It can take at least a year for a civil service list to be created. And you're probably wondering why. Because you do have individuals who, on a question, their response was B, while others claim C was a more appropriate choice. So those protests must be entertained to determine whether they have any merit. Once you get your final grade, you will be given a list number. It could be as high as number 1, or it could be the last number on the list. It all depends on your score. Once a list is established, they will begin calling people off the list. And hopefully, you will score high enough to be invited to an interval pool, of which you will hopefully be interviewed for possible positions. However, sometimes what happens is The positions at a given pool may be filled out before they get to your number. Don't worry, it happens. What that means is you'll be invited to the next pool. When? No one knows. You will be notified nevertheless. And let's just say you get invited to a second poll. And this time you are interviewed. What may happen is you may be offered a position. I would suggest that you take it. Why? Because if you actually decline a position, then you're going to have to go through the process to be restored on your civil service list. Should you accept your position, you will go through what's called a probationary period. For most titles, it's 12 months. And what's the purpose of this probationary period? So you can have your skills sharpened and hopefully you have successfully completed the probationary period. Once that's done, you are permanent. Now, let me just explain to you the difference between open competitive and promotional exams. Open competitive exams are open to all candidates who have filled the qualifications for the examination. A promotional exam, it's only geared to a group of people who have been certified on the entry level for promotion. Let me just give you an example. I am a fraud investigator, so I'm certified as a fraud investigator. So whenever there's an exam for the supervisory level for my position, I can file because I qualify. And hopefully I'll do well enough to not only pass the exam, but to be placed on the list and to be interviewed. There is more information, but I don't want to overwhelm you as regards to civil service listings and civil service exams. If you want to know more, if you live in New York, you can go to the Department of Citywide Administration Services website and find out more information about civil service exams. And what you can do is you'll go into www.nyc.gov/DCAS. That's DCAS. And then you can get information regarding civil service exams. For those of you who are not in New York City, you can go to your municipality's personnel department or something similar to the Department of Citywide Administrative Services when you can get information regarding civil service exams in your community. That being said, I thank you very much for watching this video, either live or on the replay. And I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. So therefore, whenever I upload material, you will be able to see it because you will be notified. That being said, I thank you very much. And I'm going to end it the same way I always end all my videos, which is the following. People, please be careful out there because we're still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and we must do everything possible to avoid contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged people, which are referred to as the bigs. Because if you fail to do so, you will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. And just as a reminder, on Friday, October the 15th, I believe it's 8:30 p.m., I will do another panel discussion, which will be part two of becoming a homeowner. And I will have a real estate agency who will give her expert opinion on the subject. That being said, I thank you very much. Take care and peace.